Hey, it's Ken, Whole30.2, day two. I was reading some Darwinisms today, and it actually reminded me of my time as a rough frame carpenter. We used to build houses. And we had one guy who was particularly ignorant, which for construction workers is saying a lot. Uh, but the two stories I remember. The first one, so we had generators. Big generators, takes a couple guys to move them. You power all your electrical tools, gas filled. Anyway, what are called kill switches on them. The main chassis of the generator shuts it off. Right, very simple. Well, this guy I'm talking about, really intelligent guy, for some reason he must have ripped the button off. I'm not really sure what he did, but he destroyed it, so the kill switch wasn't there. He asked us how to turn the generator off because he couldn't figure it out. We told him to stick your tongue on it because that would kill the generator. So yes, Mr. Brilliance decided that we must be telling the truth. And he stuck his tongue on it, blew him back 5 feet. We all laughed and called him stupid. Great fun. Until the very next day, and he did it again. And we couldn't believe it. We literally had to go fix the kill switch and went to a third day in a row. Now that was pretty funny. But top that off, one of the things that this guy did, I'll never forget. So when it gets really cold at a construction site, you take all the scrap wood, you put it in a pile near the house you're building, and you light it on fire. Not a big blazing fire. There's no real fire hazard, but it gives you a little bit of heat, helps you get through the worst of the cold. So we hand the guy a 5-gallon can of gas. The pile's already built because we had been building it. And we said, pour some gas on the fire or on the pile and light it so we can have our fire. Sure. 15 minutes go by, and we smell all this gas. We're like, where's all this gas coming from? And we all look at each other at the same time. Right at that time, there's this huge sonic boom, and literally a fireball shoots up into the sky. And we all run over because we're on the second floor of this house building it. We all run over to the edge, and almost all the wood that we had collected is gone. This kid is 15 feet back on his butt. We run down. He ended up having second-degree burns on his face, eyebrows burned off, half his hair was burnt, his clothes were all singed. Yeah, Mr. Brilliant to put 5 gallons of gas on the pile of wood. It was brilliant. It was awesome. And he quit after that, by the way. Shocking. He probably went and crossed traffic to see if he could do it and never made it. He was not the smartest kid, but that's my personal Darwin story. As for the Whole30.2, so pre-made paleo, I'm done. Uh, look, the portion sizes are really small for me. They say on the package 8 ounces. I have a scale. I would weigh things. Nothing. There's never more than 5 ounces of protein. But when you put the vegetables in, maybe it was the right amount. I'm not sitting here telling you they're cheating you. I think that they're doing what they think they should be doing. But that was part one. Part two was the fact that, one of the reasons I got on Whole30 is because every time I used to eat, I used to have huge issues with my stomach, clearing my throat. It's just nasty. It sounded bad. I went on Whole30. All that went away. Actually, I used to snore real bad, and my snoring went away. I've been on pre-made paleo for 2 days. I snored last night. Every time I eat, I have a reaction to the food. I don't know what it is. They say they don't use preservatives. You look at the ingredient list, nothing seems to be bad, but something's interacting with me every meal. I don't know what it is. The food, though, overall is pretty good. There are some times that some of the vegetables throw me off, especially when you're eating some really raw-looking spinach first thing in the morning. But, outside of that, I can't really complain about the taste. It definitely is a good quality product. It's just between the lack of portion size and this reaction I have every time I eat it, it's not worth it. So I'm going to go back to what I was doing before. I'll try to control the portions. I thought that Whole30's whole thing was your body would figure itself out. Maybe it will. Maybe I didn't give myself enough time. But glitch aside, I haven't cheated or anything. And in fact, these guys were a lot more liberal with what Whole30 meant than I ever was. They we're adding all kinds of stuff in that I would never consider adding, even though technically it's on the Whole30 list. There's nuts in there, and there's raisins in there, and all kinds of sweetened, juice sweeteners they use, which I never use any of that stuff. Maybe that's why I didn't have the throat clearing issue. So I'm going to go back to my more stringent version, but probably with bigger portions, and hopefully that'll correct things. That's about it for today. I don't really have any rants that I'm ready to rant about. I do have a lot of things that I'm considering. The one I'm sort of noodling on right now is I actually think that using rockets to blast off into space is ignorant. Not ignorant because those people are stupid. They're actually, I met a couple really smart people stuck in a rut. I think that, between you and me, I think that gravity is really just electrons. I don't think electrons are actually particles. I think they're holes in the space-time continuum, and that's why they appear in two places at once, because a hole or a tunnel has a beginning and an end. And I think that what happens is as you get mass, so you get atomic elements that are close to each other, they start poking holes in the space-time continuum, and they look like electrons. And I think that passing through that interaction is gravity. And I think that it's this solid piece of mass trying to get to that solid piece of mass. That interaction or a subatomic particle traveling between those two cores. And I think that if you could stop that from happening, you would stop gravity. Now, where am I going with all this? Because it sounds all crazy. Quantum computing. These quantum computing guys have been figuring out how to lock down exactly where electrons will be, and that's what their whole process is. When they turn their quantum cells on, they're actually controlling those tunnels and shutting them down, even though they're not meaning to do so. And so I really would love to see if gravity or the weight or their mass of their cells changes when they're active versus when they're off. And then you would know which way to go. If they're heavier, then you know that what they're doing is, increasing the number of interactions. But I suspect it to be lighter because they're actually restricting. Anyways, that's where my mind has been the past couple of days. So I don't have a really good rant to rant about today. So I guess I will talk to you later. Later.